Good morning, everyone. This is Brad Matheny again. Today's the 11th of October. We've gone through quite a bit of a week here, and I'm watching this rally today on the SPY and on gold, and actually on Bitcoin as well. And this is playing out really quite nicely today. You can see where I drew the expectations this morning pre market. We rallied up, we found our resistance right where I suggested, a little early, but at the price level I suggested. Now we're getting into that last squeeze. Could see a move up into this 582, 583 area here on a squeeze. Overall, the week's been very solid. Remember, I drew these predictions, these lines up here, many weeks ago. And even though price shifted, this was back, look how far back they go. They go all the way back to the 23rd of September. 23rd. And even though price shifted through this trend, the rotation moving higher as my expectations were the same. You can see here, these were the original levels here, have just continued to move higher. Okay. And now, like I said, we're nearing up to that sell period, looking for that rolling buy period back over here to get into this trend over here. So, I mean, it's played out beautifully. And like I said, I've drawn these. Look at how far out this data goes. And like I said, I challenge anybody. If you think you can predict the market like I'm doing all the way out a month in advance, this is all the way from the 23rd of September all the way over here to the 24th of October. I've drawn every day. I've mapped out every day using my cycle patterns here. And basically, there you go. All the way mapped out through the end of October. But again, what's important is to know how to use these, okay? And we're getting very clear here with my roadmaps and my analysis, and it's playing out really exceptionally quite well. Now, let's go take a look at QQQ real quick. Good, solid move, not quite as much as I had expected. Nasdaq's up only 30, where the S&P's up. Well, it's up. Nasdaq's up 0.15%, and the S&P's up almost 6.60. So we're not seeing a big move here in the QQQs. I do believe that we could now understand here the Qs are already up at a new high here. So this is hourly. And I have a lot of data back over here. Looks like I was trying to draw something. Get rid of all of these. I know I draw a lot, but visually I want you guys to see these things. Remember, I'm trying to come to you and teach you, what I see in the chart so you can do the same thing. So now let's see where we're at with price. Let's zone this back in. There we go. So here we go, rolling through these cycles. And this is an hourly chart. There's our peak. And we are not at all-time highs yet on the QQQs. Got to get above this level up here. We're hanging around right over in this area, 494. We are pushing likely up into this 512, 510 area on the Qs. We'll just have to let this continue to play out. We have shifted lower here, as you can see, and we're struggling to maintain that. So let's come over here to gold. Gold has had a nice solid move today. And we'll get rid of some of these lines. Go back to auto scaling. Here's our move after that deep rotation. So again, the patterns. Remember, here's the patterns. Expecting this move up, We were buying down here near these lows, expecting this to move up, and then buying off the lows here, right here, expecting this rally phase up into the topping pattern here. Now, I believe that gold has a little bit left in it here. 2674, almost 2675. I would say that we have a chance to maybe move up into this 85 area and then roll over, just like I suggested here. We did have this big collapse here on bond news, on government sales of bonds and treasuries, and that's where we shifted out of this dynamic. But now remember, we were expecting a downward bar day anyway, expecting to be able to buy into these lows and see it rally back out. It struggled for a day and then set this bottom. This was a temporary bottom pattern set up right here and rallied back out of it. So this is a good idea of where news comes in and drives a shift in price. But still, the patterns continue to play out. Once the news settles, price settles, and the patterns resume. So that's where we're at. Next week, what we're looking at for gold is a rolling consolidation into this sideways trend. We may not get up here to 2,700. We may. We'll see where it plays out. So, in other words, we could see a rolling consolidation kind of in this lower area before basing and trying to roll into an uptrend. So understand that we'll see how we end up today. We'll see where we're at on Monday, but we're going to get into that Tuesday, Wednesday area on the 15th and 16th, which is going to be probably sideways consolidation before we attempt to rally again up into the 2740, 2750 area. And again, silver, let's take a look at silver. Pretty solid move, it looks like, in silver. Let me come back over here, reset the size. Yeah, overall, it's been a pretty solid move. So when you take a look here at the move, we've broken the flagging pattern here. We've rallied just like we have in gold. I suggested that we may end up in this 3180, 3190 area by the end of the day. We've got about an hour and a half to go. Really it comes down to probably this 32 level as a psychological level playing as a resistance to this move to the upside. But again, same type of scenario is going to happen with silver as is with gold. We're going to get up into a rally. We may get to 32. We may get a little higher. Then we're going to consolidate into the 15th, 16th, and then roll upward. So understand that you're looking at a fairly solid rotational consolidation until we get out here towards the 16th, which really I need to carry that out because the 16th is out here. So we roll up, roll into Monday, Tuesday, roll out here into the 16th, and then base, and then rally on up. That makes a lot more sense to me. And again, this rotational challenge, this area here will probably stay above this 3180 area and probably below this 3250 area, staying kind of in that channel for the next couple of days, struggling to get out. So we will see how it plays out. And then lastly, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin really had a very solid recovery. And again, I did at this point expect it to move into flagging. And to be honest with you folks, it's going to move into flagging. Okay. So we need to see where we're at here. We need to see how this plays out. But boy, you cannot argue with this recovery. It came way down below my expected lows. I highlighted these levels coming down potentially getting to this area, but this is a massive rebound. And did I expect this? No, I didn't. I got to admit, I expected price to come down. I called it way back over here. I told everyone that it was going to have to come down to basically this level into this zone here. We got into the zone over here. I warned everyone that it wasn't over. because of this excess phase peak pattern that was playing out. We had this big flush out low, and then, oh my gosh, we have been really, I mean, you could argue we've seen a little flag right here. I didn't count that as a flag this morning because it's so tiny. And where are we at now? We're back up here to these previous highs, 63,000 basically. Huge rally setting up again. If you take a look at this on a daily, so coming in here on a daily basis, I know I've got a lot of lines in here and I'll get rid of them so you can see or try to see, but um, leave that, get rid of 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 that, that. Here, let me come down to hourly and make it easier. So I'm going to get rid of a lot of these lines. And let's take a look at it on daily. I mean, we could redraw the lines if we want. We've got video reference to them. Okay, took a little work, but there we go. Okay, so now let's come back out here to daily. And again, spread this out. You can see this rebound taking place. Okay, and again, what I'd like to point out is take a look at this move and take a look at where we're at. Okay, I'm gonna mark this for you, and I'm gonna mark these, get rid of those, get rid of that yellow, get rid of the blue, and get rid of this. And now look at this, folks. Okay, where are we? Okay, we have rallied up. We have come down here. We've formed a flag. We have broken the flag, moving down. We have struggled at these levels. We have gotten lower, but we got rejected. So at this point, we've struggled to move to a 3, which would be down in this area. We have yet to see real confirmation of the breakdown into a new lower low. Okay, so understand that then we would consolidate and then we would establish a potential new lower low maybe over here. So ideally what the next phase would be, so we've broken this low, we're either going to rally back up across the high of the flag and then across the ultimate high, or we're going to break down below this flagging low right here and try to establish a new low back down in this area, consolidate, and then maybe move down into this ultimate low, which is what I drew right here with this blue line. So are we out of the woods? No, we're not out of the woods. We're right in the middle of a phase 2 broken flag, excess phase peak to the downside for the market. Now understand that we could at the same point in time draw a inverted peak. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this line here and this line here, and let's draw our inverted excess phase peak. You ready? We come down to a peak, we rally back out of it, and we start to flag. So there's our excess phase peak on the inverted side. And where are we on that pattern? We are right in the middle of flagging. Okay, we are right in the middle of flagging. So flagging would indicate that we are either going to roll up at this high fairly aggressively back to the downside, which would look like this, rolling back down into flagging and potentially eventually getting to a new low, which would continue the downtrend, or we are going to break out of this flagging at some point, either here, setting a new high, consolidating, and then moving to the ultimate high, or It could happen down here, setting a new high, consolidating, and then rallying back out. So right now, if I were to take a look at this on the upper excess phase peak, which is here in yellow, we've just broken this low. We rejected, or the flag, we rejected down at this level. We're trying to hold back up, but we're not above the flag high and we're not below the flag low. So at this point, we're in kind of a nebulous sideways channel, which will likely consolidate until it makes a move, either up or down. Okay, so there you go. We're in this nebulous sideways mode on the daily basis and going to be fairly volatile until it decides to make a move. On the inverted peak, which is this red line, we're still in flagging. And as long as we stay in flagging, we should expect price to come back down. So how does this align? The longer term excess phase peak to the downside tells us we should see price roll here and move back down. The longer term or the shorter term bullish excess phase peak pattern tells us we've broken out of flagging. We're back into flagging up here near this kind of an upward channel, and we may likely roll. So we've got probably an 85% chance of a downside roll right here. We probably got a 20 to 30% chance of an upside rally breaking up above this level. We could get up into this level, the 63,700 area or a little higher, and then roll back downward. That would be completely legitimate. This area here, this real range between here and here, is now kind of a nebulous area. Okay, that's where we've had our high up here for the excess phase peak. It's where we had our low for the excess phase peak. This is just channeling. As long as it stays in this area, it's just going to channel. Now, granted, it's a nice range, 60,600 to 64,000. You've got a $3,600 channel right in there that you could trade. But until we get above this level, this yellow level, or get below this lower level, Bitcoin will channel in this area and likely stay into, you can see these areas I've drawn as support and resistance. Ultimately, like I said, I think you got about an 85% chance you're going to see it move down at this point. What would change my mind is if we started to rally back up above this level. Okay, meaning if we could clearly take out this high, which is the last major high on the daily chart, then I'd say you could see it really start to move higher. It has failed right now to take out new highs. You can see we had this high, established a new low, failed to rally back up above this high, established this high, wash out low. Now it's coming back up. It's probably going to fail up here and roll downward, setting up a new low. That's how Fibonacci price theory works. Okay, so nice little update here. Let me go back to the SPY. Again, beautiful. Now look here, we're looking for, make sure I'm on the right chart. I am. We are looking for the SPY here to move up into the 581, 582, 583 area on a nice little carryover melt up rally. So we got about an hour and 10 minutes to go in trading. Let's see what happens. Little bit of upward move here, right below 580. I think if it can get above this like 580 and a half, it's going to squeeze right up into this 582, 583 area by the end of the day. But again, beautiful day, beautiful week, actually. You know, I've been getting all kinds of messages from followers and subscribers about this gold trade. I mean, this gold trade is just gorgeous. I mean, I called it all the way through here, kept repeating that this 2620 area had to hold. Very important. We called the bottom. A lot of people followed my advice and got into, I guess, gold contracts or options, and they caught this rally over the last 2 days. And I mean, look, this is a gorgeous rally. This is a $51 rally, and it's probably not over yet. So again, thank you to everybody. Love to hear the success stories, and especially, I'm hearing people are making, 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 on my calls. And again, I'm happy. That's what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to show you how this analysis works and prove to you that there's real value in what I'm doing. Okay, it's not just I'm guessing. I'm trying to pull the best analysis I can to make this work for you. All right, guys, that's it. I'll talk to you later. Have a good weekend.